Hi ladies, I hope you enjoyed my session on Saturday or Sunday rather of last week where I did a 10-minute creation with you. Here is my second 10-minute creation. For this one, you're going to be using the Balloon Adventures stamp set. We're going to make a birthday card. The Timeless Texture set, you're specifically going to use those little splats from in there. And you need the balloon pop-up Thinlits dies. Okay. I've pulled out It's Your Birthday, the balloon stamp, and those splats. You're going to need mint macaron ink, crushed curry ink, and Memento black ink. We're going to be using the string for the kite, the balloon, the balloon punch, the balloon framelit, that's the stripes. You can use either one. I happen to like the stripes one, so that's the one I chose. I'm going to be using a scrap of mint macaron paper, and I have some sequins that match that I pulled out in my stash that I'm going to use. Going to need your Wink of Stella pen, a piece of Whisper White that's 3.5 by 4, a piece of mint macaron cardstock that's 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4, and a piece of white, not white, Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper. And this is a retired one, but I'm going to use it because it's got the balloons on it. I don't even remember which one it was. I think it was like last year's, but that's the one I'm going to use. Let's get started. The first thing you need is your Whisper White cardstock, and you want your balloon stamp and your mint macaron. Love this color. So sad it's going to be retiring. I hope we get another pretty green. I like the softer greens. They always do away with them and then I have to lament about it, okay? And I'm going to stamp my balloon up in my corner. And did you see that? Do you see that spot right there in front of my finger? That says that the ink hasn't transferred. When I pushed on it, it transferred. That's the beauty of photopolymer. You can actually see the ink transfer. Now we're going to be covering it, so it really doesn't matter, but I wanted to stamp it underneath so that I have a spot if it shows. Okay, now we're going to do our stem. I don't know why I keep calling it a stem. It's a string. And I need a scrap piece of paper because I have a feeling this is going to hang off and I don't want to get it on my mat. So I'm just going to pull it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to match up like that. All right. Now, using the crushed curry, we're going to stamp Nope, I did that wrong. I'll have to clean that. I'll come back. The crushed curry, we're actually going to stamp our dots in various spaces, just to give it some interest. And however you want to do it is fine. Okay, and since I've got this here, I'm just going to go ahead. When you get desperate, use the paper. Okay, now I'm going to stamp It's Your Birthday in the mint macaron, and I'm going to do it at an angle. I know it looks blue. I used this with Pacific Point and it stained it. There we go. Remember, hold that photopolymer stamp down a little bit so it'll take and transfer. And I want my washi tape. I'm gonna tear off my end, and I'm going to, gotta go this way. Okay, stick my end back on it. Another good tip, I always lose the end. Take a scrap and stick it on the end. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down a little. Grab the wrong scissors. I'm going to trim it at that corner, and I'm going to fold this piece back and this piece up. And I'm going to trim this edge off, and I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to push that down so it stays stuck down. Flip it over, oh, see, and stick that down. And now to add a little bit of interest, I'm going back to my string, and I'm going to ink up this end, and I'm going to stamp over it. And I messed it up. There we go. Still didn't work. Must be something with the way I stamped it, maybe because of the thing, but it's okay. It adds a little bit of interest to it. Okay, using the glimmer paper and the large punch, I'm going to punch out the balloon. There we go. Close that up. Okay. Now, what I need to do is I need to take my piece of scrap paper and cut this out. I'm going to do that and I'll be back. Okay. After I cut that, I would suggest you cut this piece first, because then you can let this dry some, because you're going to put that on your balloon, and if it's dried some, it won't ooze out. I took my balloon and I added some dimensionals on the back, and I'm going to put that right over top like so. This goes on top of here. Okay. And then using a sequins, you could use rhinestones. Since I didn't know if this is going to be used for a boy or a girl, I just wanted to keep it neutral. I'm going to add my sequins with a glue dot. I love my bling, so I have to do this and add some bling to it. Okay, and I'm going to put one there, one here, and one down here. The other thing that I did while I had the camera off is I hit this with my heat tool. This is slick, and I had used Memento. I probably should have used something that like stays on or something, but I don't like to use stays on because it stains my stamps. Okay, all we have to do now is add our glue on the back. And to give it some interest, I'm putting it at an angle, pressing it down. I'll probably stick an extra glue dot under that corner just because it's sticking up. And that's another tip. If you ever stick something down and a corner sticking up, take a glue dot, stick it under there and hold it in place like so. There it is. 10 minutes or less. This one is cute.